Savage Hippokampos begins the encounter with Murky Depths, a standard Raidwide. Double Impact is a shared tank buster. This can be shared with mitigation or soloed with an invulnerability cooldown. Sewage Deluge will deal high Raidwide damage and transform the arena, covering most of it in not quite water. Stay on the raised corners and grates to avoid a nasty dot. One of the raised corners will also be overflowing, killing any players that cross it and limiting how we can move around the arena. Players have about 10 seconds to position between when the Sewage Deluge cast ends and when the danger fields activate, and we take this time to position the raid on the raised corner opposite the death corner. Hippokampos will cast its first Cataract. Like the normal difficulty, when spoken Cataract is cast, the body of the Hippokampos, represented by an orange target ring, will fire a column AoE directly in front of and behind it. At the same time, the head of the Hippokampos, represented by a red target ring, will deliver a 180-degree cleave in the direction it is facing. Identify the safe spot for both cleaves and position accordingly. In addition to spoken Cataract, Hippokampos can also cast Winged Cataract. The body still cleaves forward and back as with spoken, but the head will instead deliver a 180-degree cleave behind itself with its wings. After the first Cataract resolves, one of the tanks moves to the front of the stack on the inside corner. When Hippokampos casts Coherence, it will tether to a party member. The tank at the front of the stack will automatically intercept this tether and take it away from the party, as at the end of the Coherence cast, the tethered player will be hit with a proximity damage tank buster. After the tether tank leaves, we have the other tank move to the front of the stack, as after the tether resolves, a party member will be targeted with a column AoE that deals tank buster damage to the first player it hits. After another Murky Depths Raidwide, Hippokampos casts Ominous Bubbling, before facing a corner adjacent to the death corner and casting Shockwave. At the end of the Shockwave cast, all party members will be knocked back from the corner Hippokampos faced, but this can and should be immune with Arm's Length and Surecast about halfway through the cast bar. Immediately after Shockwave resolves, both healers will be targeted with shared damage AoEs from Ominous Bubbling. These inflict water resistance down too, making overlap lethal and requiring us to split into light parties. One group stacks on the corner Hippokampos jumps to, while the other stacks on the edge of his target ring. After the stacks resolve, the party moves back to the corner opposite the death corner. Hippokampos will cast Predatory Avarice, marking one random tank and one random DPS with Mark of the Tides. When Mark of the Tides expires, the afflicted players are targeted with a circle AoE that will knock any other player's hit into the wall. A healer will also receive the Mark of the Depths debuff, targeting them with a shared stack AoE when it expires. Hippokampos will cast another Cataract and the party will move to whichever corner is safe. After the Cataract resolves, we have the Mark of the Tides tank run out to the left, and the Mark of the Tides DPS run out to the right, with the rest of the party remaining stacked to resolve Mark of the Depths. After the debuffs expire, the water will recede and Hippokampos will cast Channeling Flow, giving all players a blue arrow and a Mark of the Tides debuff. When the debuff expires, the afflicted player will be knocked in the direction indicated by their arrow and will continue traveling until another player or the arena wall breaks their momentum. The arrows come out in sets of 2 for each cardinal direction, so we have every arrow go to the opposite cardinal at max melee range. Just before the debuffs expire, we take a step back from the boss to be safe, as being too close to the player you're knocking into will kill both of you. Following another cast of Doubled Impact and Murky Depths, Hippokampos will begin its second Sewage Deluge phase. This phase begins with another Shockwave, and we once again just immune it with knockback prevention. I recommend holding raid buffs here, as the boss will become untargetable during the next mechanic, and potions will be up at the end of that mechanic if you use them in your opener. When Hippokampos casts Kampeos Harma, each player will receive a unique marker: purple triangles 1, 2, 3, and 4, who are untethered, and blue squares 1, 2, 3, and 4, who are tethered to the boss. At the end of the cast, 2 mechanics will resolve at once, so let's walk through each of them. The untethered players will be targeted by massive circle AoEs that inflict physical vulnerability up, first striking player 1, then player 2, and so on. For this part of the mechanic, we just mark the cardinal grates 1, 2, 3, and 4, and have the 1 marker go to 1, 2 marker to 2, and so on. The blue tethered players have a bit more responsibility. At the end of the cast, the boss will dash to the player marked 1, dealing less damage the further it travels, similar to Electric Slide from P2S. This also inflicts physical vulnerability up and can easily deal lethal damage if the players aren't as far apart as possible. We have the odd players 1 and 3 go all the way to the opposite corner, B in this example, with 1 just a step closer to the boss than 3. Meanwhile 2 and 4 are in the outside corner of the boss's starting location, with 2 just a step in front of 4. The boss will dash to 1, and 1 and 3 will swap places. The boss will then dash to 2, and 2 and 4 will swap places. The boss dashes back to 3, and finally back to 4, and the mechanic is resolved. Hippocampos will become targetable again, and the party immediately collapses for raid buffs before the tanks peel off to resolve a doubled impact. After another Murky Depths, Hippocampos will cast its second channeling Overflow. At the end of this cast, 4 party members will receive a 14-second blue arrow, referred to as short arrows, and 4 party members will receive a 28-second blue arrow, referred to as long arrows. When the short arrows resolve, all of the long arrow players will be targeted with circle AoEs from Tainted Flood, and when the long arrows resolve, all of the short arrow players will be targeted with these circle AoEs. The arrows and circles both inflict water resistance down too, making overlap lethal. The arrows will have to shoot down the longer safe segments of the arena to avoid dying from the knockback. So we have the circles move to the grates adjacent to the death corner. There's enough room for 2 on either side. The very inside point of the 3 raised corners are also safe for circles to stand in, but the positioning is much more precise. After the fast arrows and first circles resolve, players should immediately begin positioning to resolve the slow arrows and second circles. Immediately after all of this will be another Cataract before the water recedes. The boss will cast another set of Predatory Avarice debuffs, followed by Dissociation. After a short delay, its head will appear at the north or south edge of the arena, telegraphing that it will soon cleave that half of the arena. We position in the center of the opposite side until the boss begins casting Cataract, and quickly move to the safe corner. The Predatory Avarice debuffs will resolve with this Cataract, so we have the party stacked beside the boss in the safe spot, while the debuffed tank runs to the corner, and the debuffed DPS stands near the edge towards mid next to the Dissociation cleave. We stack at 1 or 3 before Hippocampos casts another Dissociation. We note which half of the arena will be cleaved, and Hippocampos casts Sewage Eruption. At the end of this cast, a series of 3 sets of circle AoEs appear beneath party members' feet. We follow the grates on the side Dissociation isn't targeting to bait these before spreading for Tainted Flood. Dissociation will resolve between the second and third baits. While Tainted Flood resolves, Hippocampos casts another Coherence. One tank picks up the Tether and takes it away from the party, while the rest of the party stacks at the corner we rotated towards during the Sewage Eruption baits, with the tank in front. This is followed by another doubled impact in Murky Depths. Hippocampos will begin its final Sewage Deluge phase, and the party once again positions opposite the death corner with the tanks in front. Hippocampos will cast another channeling Overflow, giving 4 players long arrows and 4 players short arrows. This is immediately followed by Coherence, so we stay in place while the long arrow tank picks up the Tether and begins moving out to the death corner before the short arrows spread to resolve their knockbacks. The rest of the party remains on the corners of the raised tile we started on, out of the way of the fast arrows. Immediately after the fast arrows resolve, the party needs to collapse with the fast arrow tank in front to resolve the Coherence mechanics. Following Coherence, the long arrows move out into position to resolve their knockbacks. This is a lot of damage and happens very fast, so consider saving a tank or healer LB3 to get through it while learning. The boss will again cast Dissociation, and the party once again stacks on 1 or 3 to bait Sewage Eruptions, rotating away from the Dissociation cleave. This is followed by an ominous bubbling and Shockwave combo that's handled the same way we did the first. After another doubled impact, Hippocampos will cast 2 Murky Depths before enraging with a long cast of Sewage Deluge.